And now people have cottoned on, they've stopped trying to make real hip-hop beats, and they thought, well, let's just do what we're good at. And you're seeing people like Chipmunk come through, Tinchy Spider, N-Dubs, you know.
Doing really well.
Yeah, exactly. So.
About this UK-US divide, do you think like the American artists are overshadowing UK artists? Because we've got some great talent, Dizzy Rascal, Estelle, Jay Sean, they've all gone to America, tried to break through there, yet the impact they make there is not as big as someone like Beyonce has over here.
Well, you see what it is? It's like trying to sell ice to Eskimos. At the end of the day, you know, unless you come with a sound that is totally unique, it's going to be difficult. Back in the day, you know, I remember when I worked with an artist called Ali, wicked singer, brilliant, classic music, everything. And they wanted to break him in the US first, but the UK wanted to break him over here and put him out first in the UK. He was signed to Ireland in the UK and Ireland in the US, and that was very rare back in the day for an artist to be like that. But what his style of music was so different to what was already coming out. I think it was like all the big slow jams, like you're saying, the Jodeci's, people like that. You know, and his style of music was so different. It was like new classic soul. He was doing what Maxwell was doing before Maxwell did it. He was doing what people like Jill Scott and you know, that kind of like new classic soul genre he was doing before that. And unfortunately, they put him out in the UK first. Right. But because the UK wasn't ready for it, he didn't really cut the mustard, so to speak. You know, and consequently, his deal with the US didn't happen. The US thought, well, okay, if he's not hot in his own town, how's it going to be over there? But you've got people like Craig David who've managed to make that transition. Yeah. Like you're saying, you've got people like Jay Sean. I don't think there's a divide. I think a lot of UK artists do very well in America, but they don't do as well as the Americans do because they don't live there. Right. To break the US, you've got to live there for a whole entire year. So you have to remember that one state in the US is the same size as England. Yeah. You know, so you've got to put in the work, you've got to put in the time. And a lot of Yankees, man, they don't. You know, you go to certain parts of America, they don't even realise that you've got black people in England. I'm being serious. Yeah. They don't even realise that, you know, they're so sold their American dream that they honestly believe that the Americans are kind of like the be and end all. You know, I'm not saying everybody in America, but you know, a lot of the natives, they've got to be convinced. You know, hence why Robbie Williams hasn't been able to break America. It's just something. If they don't like you, they don't like you. They're not going to go out. Yeah, they're going to change your mind. So I don't say there's been a divide. I think if even more so, you know, if you look behind the scenes, the artists doing well in America. You know, a lot of their music is being produced by UK producers like Stargate, Tim and Bob, produced Leo and Experience, other people. So you know, I won't say there's a divide. I just think that a lot of UK artists, number one, feel it's very expensive to go out and break the US. Number two, it is a slog. It is so difficult to break the US.
They need that background help.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is a hard place to go to, and you're contending with a massive country that already emits rappers like a factory product line, R&B singers like a factory product line. So you've got to have that USP, that unique selling point. So when people like Amy Winehouse came out with her version of soul, it is soul, but it was a very acceptable version of soul. Adele, Joss Stone, white girl singing like Aretha. Damn, man. You know, so the Yankees see that and think, right, okay, we'll buy into that. We'll buy them. Craig David, same thing. We'll buy into that. And Craig David would have been so much bigger in the US. And one thing that really put him down, which was the most menial thing that really stopped his progress, because when he went on tour, he had a white guitarist and a white band, and you're thinking, you know, why would you not support an artist because of that? But that's just how certain parts of America are. You know, that's just how they get down. You know, they perceive, how you perceive yourself is more important sometimes than the music you sing.
Right. It's a shame, really.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say there's a divide. I think the UK is doing just as well in the US as the US is doing over here. But it's always been like that because you have to remember, since I was a kid, every influence to do with the music industry, fashion, TV has come from America. Vibe magazine, Right On magazine, to the TV shows, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Different Strokes, all these various programs. It has a massive influence onto who we are as a person. But the tables are turning because you know, we're exporting Strictly Come Dancing, X Factor, Britain's Got Talent. All these are shows that have come from the UK and they're now dominating the US, American Idol.
Finally.
So, yeah, we're starting, but you know, just not getting paid out of it. That's all.
Now, recently the Brit nominations are out, and N-Dubs have done really well this year, but they're only up for one nomination, and even that, it's not them as a group, it's just one member on a feature song. Do you think there's been like a lot of controversial stuff being said about ceremonies and Kanye West, and do you think that the real winners aren't winning? Like,
look, you know what? I've been to quite a few award ceremonies, and you kind of like know when you're going to win something. You know? And if the truth be told, for most, I won't say the major award ceremonies, but the majority of award ceremonies is down to how much money your label puts in sometimes. Because I know, for instance, you know, I don't want to slander any particular award ceremony, but I know, for instance, something like the Mogos, the more tables you buy, probably the better chance you've got winning an award. Because everything comes down to getting paid. You know, if you have an artist that agrees to do a performance on a gig, it costs 100 grand to put on an artist at the Brits. You know, the production, the hotels, the flights, the crew, the band. An artist don't want to go in a massive award ceremony and just stand there with a microphone. They want to be perceived and presented and sell themselves in the best way because they know it will have an influence on the record sales. I mean, the Brit situation, I looked at it and I thought, well, hold on a second. You know, Dizzy should be dominating most of these categories because he's sold more than quite a lot of people who, I read some names in there, I was like, what? You know, over the year, I had to think to myself, you know, where is Chipmunk in the new best new category and so forth? But another thing you have to realise is that now all the awards categories are sponsored by different things. So for instance, BBC Radio 1 might sponsor the best single category. BBC Radio 2 might sponsor another category. The TV category is sponsored by MTV. So the majority of the viewers from that particular category are the people that are going to be voting. So, you know, when it comes down to the public vote, if MTV2, who predominantly play rock, left field, indie, are the sponsors of, you know, the best international breakthrough artists, and you've got Dizzy Rascal and you've got N-Dubs in that category, they ain't got a chance because the majority of the audience who are voting are not really interested in that type of music. You know? But I think award ceremonies in the whole are great because it helps it's just a